Hey, what's going on guys? TheBrokenMachine here. Today we're talking about the next Battlefield, and what I think needs retiring, or at the very least, needs some work on rebalancing. Why, you might ask? Well, I think if we change these things, we might actually get more people playing the objective in the next game. Now of course, we may not know exactly where the next game will be set. Will it be Battlefield 5, Bad Company 3, 2143, maybe even Hardline 2? I doubt the last one, but what we can assume is that some features of the previous games will likely return. Let's start with the Commander, the thing that I probably hate the most. And I know hate is a strong word, but I do actually hate the Commander. My main issue with it isn't so much with its attacking abilities. The AC-130 and the cruise missile, while both are very powerful at times, those are not my biggest concerns. The main issue I have with the Commander is the UAV scan and its effect on the game. The UAV can shut down entire flag areas and make it very difficult for anyone in the area to cap a flag and play the objective, particularly if you're out there on your own or only with a few squad members. It removes the skill element of predicting where your opponents are, understanding spawns, and predicting where they may come from. In effect, it begins to reduce Battlefield to a game of looking at the minimap and shooting Doritos when they pop up on your screen. It's that removal of skill that really bothers me, and when it returned in Hardline in the form of Hacker, I was quite disappointed, and this is probably one of the main reasons I don't play Conquest that often anymore. Now you may be thinking both teams can have a Commander, and yes, of course that's true, but that's not the balance that I'm talking here. When you add something to the game, it has a knock-on effect on everything else. In my view, the UAV scan ability the Commander possesses doesn't add to the game. It actually takes a lot of the competitiveness of the game away. Without the UAV, the outcome of the game is determined by the skill of the players. Do they know where the enemy is coming from or could come from? Do they understand spawns, map knowledge, what's the current metagame, are people aware of metagames? All of these things come into play, but when a UAV is up, all that is removed and the team with the Commander only needs to look at the minimap to figure out where their opponents are. Now of course both teams can have a Commander, but that isn't always the case, so again we have a huge balance issue there that hardly anyone ever talks about. How about the Commander's abilities are disabled until both sides have one? Simple balance right there. Ideally I'd want it removed, but that would be a great start. The Commander's other abilities aren't that particularly game changing, but still advantages that another team without one doesn't have. The supply drop, apart from dropping onto a player defusing the MCOM in Rush before DICE removed Commander from that particular mode, isn't particularly an issue. I've never really seen it be an issue. Of course, again, it is an advantage, but it's not one you'll see have a huge effect on the outcome of the game. The second thing I'd like to see removed is 3D spotting. The reason again is the competitiveness. Instead of predicting your opponents, all you need to do is look at a triangle on screen and shoot. Even hiding behind cover or running away into a building won't save you. In some maps, particularly tight ones like Metro, it's incredibly frustrating to try and push through, and the only reason you die is due to a large triangle on your screen giving your position away. You can throw as many smokes as you like and you just can't push. That little triangle is going to give you away. So again, it doesn't add to the experience in my view. It takes much of the skill and knowledge of the game away. Now there's lots of elements that make Battlefield a Battlefield game, but those are the two main things that I'd like to see removed, or at least rebalanced in some way that reduces their effectiveness. I'd also like to see suppression removed, but that's a whole nother video, and I think many would disagree with me on that. It's the randomness of suppression that's my concern with that one. When I talk about competitiveness here, I'm not talking about the game in a competitive setting, like esports or on the same level of Counter-Strike. What I mean is, we have to think about what are the effects of the additions to the game. How do they affect player interactions? Are they really balanced? Do they add to the experience or do they take it away? I'm not calling here for recoil control like Counter-Strike, I'm just, do these things actually add to the experience of Battlefield? I don't think they do. The commander and 3D spotting reduce the game from predicting your opponents to looking at the minimap and shooting at triangles on a screen, even so far as to how players can use the map, what kind of engagements they might be willing to take, or even as far as what kind of weapons that might be used are reduced. If a UAV is going to be up on the flag all the time, do I risk pushing aggressive with a PDW and dying, likely due to being instantly spotted? Or do I take my time and hang back with an assault rifle, or even just camp and snipe? That's what I mean, and that's what the commander and UAV can have an effect on. Try pushing through a Metro server with a commander in play. Good luck, it's very difficult. Now that might be an extreme example. Metro Conquest is a difficult map to work with anyway, but the same thing applies to other maps, particularly ones that are already unbalanced. When talking about removing things, often players can get really defensive. They like to protect the game. And what I'm saying today is, I think is a way to protect the Battlefield game myself. I think the removal of Commander, and particularly the UAV ability, and 3D spotting, I think it actually would help the game in many ways. Think about what I said at the beginning. How could we get more people to play the objective? Does the commander or the 3D spotting actually help with that? Go play for a while and you'll notice the difference in gameplay when both teams have a commander, when only one has a commander, and when none are present. The difference is real, and I think Battlefield would be a much more enjoyable experience without them, or at the very least reducing their effectiveness. You know, I love Battlefield, I love the game, I put in a lot of hours, I stream it, I make a lot of videos. It's a great game, I love playing it, I love making content, and I love interacting with you guys. It's all good fun, and you know, I'm not here hating on the game. I think what I said today would improve it. So that's all for today, guys. Please give me your thoughts on this. I do reply to a lot of comments, and if there's enough feedback, we'll do a second video and expand on what people have said. So don't forget to share this video if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. My name is TheBrokenMachine. Until next time, see you guys later.